is the weekend now for me, and I am planning on moving the boat here at the end of the month. And I had prepped it to leave when I went back home to Missouri. I took all the sails off, solar panels, a lot of the lines up top, and electronics. So today I'm going to try to reverse all that, and let's start with putting on the sails again, and then we'll probably move on to the solar panels. So this is my rear bedroom, or at least it was. Right now it is my rear storage closet, and it goes pretty far back there. I've got more sails and solar panels in the very back, but I imagine today we're gonna have to pull all this out just to find the sails. And so this was my current upgraded setup with the Bruce anchor, and I think it's 60 foot of chain here. And so what I've gone is I just went to Home Depot, and each of these boxes has 30 foot more of chain, and I've got some shackles too to join it all together. And so we'll add this on with that, and that should be 150 foot of chain then, plus my rope, which I think is 120 foot. So that should get me set up there. So I've got the engine here for the Dinghy, and this was pretty much the cheapest one I could find online, and maybe sometimes cheapest, not always best. So I only had it for about 2 weeks, maybe used it in the ocean, and I left it. You can see even before I left, I believe a lot of this might just be salt, but you can see a lot of the bolts are starting to rust. And there's already some spots even under the powder coat that's kind of bubbling up, and so obviously it's corroding quickly in the salt. And the throttle cable too actually snapped in half because it rusted. So my thought process is to try to save what I've got, because I looked on the inside and it didn't look too bad. Like, it's not like rusted or anything inside the engine, it's just exterior. So I've got a wire brush wheel here and then these sanding blocks, and I've got some automotive primer and enamel paint. And the thought process is to get a lot of this plastic off and probably go ahead and separate where it's powder coated and get most of this kind of just metal exposed, and then I'll try to use the wire brush and sanding block to kind of take down any salt and corrosion that's on it, and then give it a good coat of this enamel paint, and hopefully that helps protect it from more corrosion. And then try to oil up some spots like some bolts and things that need to be moving. And then I've also got to get this throttle replaced, and that the thought there is they sell, I think, this piece on Amazon I could get, but it's still gonna have this, so I need to find a stainless steel wire or some sort of wire that's not going to continue to corrode. So we'll see if all this is even worth it. Maybe not. Maybe I just need to get a better engine. But that gives me something to work on today. So I think I've got this outboard fully assembled again after painting it. I only have 3 screws left, and I think that's usually pretty good. It's not perfect, but this is what we're rocking with. You can see I've got all the plastic on. I'll see if I can show you. So this was all bare metal down here, even this here too. But now I've got it with this. It's like an engine enamel coat, so it should be fine with this heat. And hopefully that'll keep it from corroding. But we'll see. I'm going to put some oil back in it and then put some fuel in it, and I've kind of got it temporarily set up. I still need to redo the electrical and find some waterproof connections, but I think I've got it set up to where it should at least run and idle. We'll see. Fingers crossed. So this is our test setup. Forgive me. Oh, you can't really see right here. I was going to say the boat's a mess, but you can't see, so don't tell anybody. Here we go. I did not think this thing was ever going to work again. Okay, so a couple things. Number one, I'm surprised I actually got this to work. I didn't really do anything. I just took it apart and figured that I would destroy it because I don't know what I'm doing with engines. But two, I think you call it the clutch is not engaging for the propeller. And so need to check that out. I'm going to take apart the bottom, and they say you got to add lubricant to that. So maybe it's just seized and that's why it's not spinning. But this is pretty good progress for all the time I've put into it. I luckily found out where my 3 screws extra were supposed to go, but I took off this other screw and I think I might have found a problem. So let me flip it around and I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So this is our propeller, and I pulled this screw out here just to see what it was, and it's been dripping water for 5 minutes maybe, but all of a sudden now it's dripping rust in these little chunks, which I think are salt. And so the fact that there has been salt water in this tube for like 2 months without me running the engine is not a good sign. So I'm assuming, well, actually I know for sure before, this propeller could move freely. You'd have to give it a little bit of push, but it is not moving at all now. So it's seized. It looks like there's still oil down here. So I'm assuming this rust is from above, up where I think our clutch is up here. And probably something along the way is rusted and getting seized. which is causing this to not spin. So we'll see if we can take it apart and see what's going on. So I'm out here on the dinghy, and I just ended up twisting the prop enough back and forth that whatever was wrong broke free. Obviously it's still probably rusted inside there, so not the best, but it's working right now. I'm out on the dinghy, gave it a try, and I'm just moved around to the other side of the marina, trying to stay close for now. But the electrical, the kill switch is not, it's not on right now. I forgot to put that part on, so I just have to put the choke on full, and then throttle all the way up, and it kills the engine. And then what I've done is the last throttle cable was just steel, it wasn't stainless, and so it's corroded through and the wire broke. So I took the front brake off of my bicycle and I actually set that up, and it works great. So I believe that one's stainless because it's been out in the weather for a while and it looks still good. So I'm gonna keep it out here, keep testing around, and we'll see if it lasts. Alright, so this is the old and this is the new, and you can see I was able to somehow strip that just from all the torque on that. But thanks to my mom, I had this shipped back to Missouri where I had this blue paint, and she finished it and painted it for me. And you can see here it pops on perfect and it locks in, so that way it'll actually rotate there. So I'm going to go ahead and I got to find another washer, get this popped on, put on, and we will see if finally after 2 or 3 months my pump will finally work again. So after many tries, I believe it is finally working. You can see the video, we've got quite a bit more water coming out the back than I ever did before, probably because of all the missing impeller blades. There's no drips currently from the water impeller, and the engine is running great. It's got quite a lot of flow whenever I take off the exit valve. Like I said, that's a lot more water than I'd ever seen before coming out of that. So I'm going to let the engine run here for a bit at idle and see if the overheat alarm ends up going off, make sure it doesn't get clogged up anymore. The same amount of water is still flowing, but fingers crossed we might have finally conquered this water pump. That would be great. So I ended up running the engine for probably 20 more minutes, and it ran great. No more drips, no overheats. So I will consider this a success for now. And that wraps up this video here. Just a lot of boat projects lately. I am currently trying to get the boat prepped to sail closer to the island where I've got my job at. And I have found a anchor nearby. It's a 330-pound Rockna, which for a cruising boat is way too much, but I will be planning on using it just to kind of hold me real stern, almost like a mooring pretty much. And so I'm gonna be in the next video probably sailing over there and getting that set up with the mooring and trying to get a bigger outboard for the dinghy, because even after I fix this one, I'll have to be using the outboard every day for work to get to shore, and so I think I probably need something a little more reliable than the cheapest outboard you can buy. But other than that, things are going great here, having a good time with the new job, and getting a lot of projects done, and it'll be nice to be kind of out in the water again, away from the marina and the hustle and bustle here. But thanks for watching, I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.